Welcome. This is exercise number 10, form number 3, a bipolar world. So, let's start. Hello, my name is Iker Arsola. I'm a student from Tech Milenio, and today we're going to talk about the Cold War. So, the Cold War. What is the Cold War? Sorry for saying Cold War so much times, but this is the topic, right? Well, we refer to the Cold War as that period in history beginning at the end of 40s and running through approximately 1989 or 1991. Well, the defining characteristic of this period was the rivalry between two world superpowers, two potential countries or that dominated the world by the end of the World War II. Uh, we're talking about the United States here and the United Soviet Socialist Republic, and that this one, yes. Well, it is uh, called because it never escalated to an apparent and direct military conflict between the two nations. Uh, and the Cold War started on account of the potentially tragic circumstances that could have resulted on account of the massive nuclear arsenal harbored by each nation. Uh, well, these two superpowers were separated by two ideals. The conflict between both nations and their incompatible economic system, the capitalism for the United States and the communism of the Soviet Republic, led to an era of constant tension in the field of international relations. But what is capitalism and what is communism? So let's talk about it. Capitalism. Yes, magnifical capitalism. Capitalism is defined as an economic system in which a country's trade, industry, and profits are controlled by private companies instead of by the people whose time and labor powers those companies. Well, an example of a capitalist country is the United States in this era, and nowadays there are a lot of countries, capitalist countries. Well, the origin of capitalism. By the 18th century, England had converted into an industrial nation, and the dawn of the Industrial Revolution saw an explosion of manufacturing overtake the islands. It is within those smoky factories and flammable textile mills that our modern idea of capitalism and also the opposition to it began to flourish. In 1776, this guy, this Scottish economist called Adam Smith, published his treatise An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations, which is regarded as the bedrock upon which modern capitalism stands. Though some of his specific ideas about value and labor differ from those of modern economists. Uh, well, Smith is called often the father of capitalism. Well, and in the other side of the coin, we have socialism. What is socialism? Well, the modern idea of socialism has roots in Greek with the famous philosopher Plato, but emerged as popular political idea in the early 19th century among German radicals like these two guys called Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. There are many forms of socialism, but as at its core, socialism is an economic system in which a whole community, not just bosses or private company, control the means of production equally. It assumes that people are naturally cooperative instead of competitive, and the goal of this uh, supposedly beautiful economic system is an equality society run by democratic elected representative for the benefit of all accordance with a set of collectively determined parameters. Unlike under capitalism, industry and production is run by the state, and the acquisition of private property is seen as counterproductive. Well, the capitalism critiques the socialism of belief that the system slows economy growth and reward worker laziness and can stifle individual rights and free expression. So, these are some socialist countries nowadays. If we take a look on the map, there are clearly a minority all around the world. There are only 31 socialist countries all around the world, mainly in Asia, a part of Europe, some of Africa, and, well, Cuba. And the other countries, most of them are capitalist. So let's take a look on the interview that I did. Well, I interview my uncle because he loves history and also he can speak English. So I decided interviewing him. His name is Gilberto Fernandez. He is 63 years old. So let's start with the questions. What countries were the world leaders during this period? The USA and Russia, right? Uh, the third question, no, second one. Yes. Why did countries who were allies during the wars become enemies afterwards? He answered, because the United States didn't want Russia to support other countries with respect to communism. Where did the Cold War take place? Well, he said that in Europe is Germany with the Berlin's Wall, and in America with Cuba weapons crisis. So, the final questions. What opinion did the general public have of the Cold War? And I think that this is true. All the world was afraid because there may have been a nuclear war. Do both countries have powerful weapons? So, what type of weapons did the two world powers have at their disposal? He answered in the previous question, but he also answered here nuclear weapons. Ah, my opinion. Well, my opinion about Cold War is that it was a time of great tension where people were afraid that a military war would break out where many more lives would be lost, taking in consideration that many lives were taken in during the two world wars, and maybe this could be more catastrophic than the others were. Well, but it was a relief. Yes, it was kind of good that it didn't start because I think the course of modern history would be completely different. And think about it, maybe we could be in war nowadays or trying to save. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching.